Hello and welcome back to Gear Locker, where we test microphones that come into my collection for all sorts of reasons. Today we have the legendary SM7B vocal dynamic microphone. As you can probably recognize it, this is a very ubiquitous microphone since it's very prominent in streaming and in some video vocal recordings. This microphone is very notorious for being gain hungry, and even Shure official documentation states that it needs at least 60 decibels of gain for it to work properly, especially in voice-over work. The Shure SM7B is known for its big, bulky look, as you can notice. This microphone is very heavy, so I suggest you get a very stable microphone boom arm. I recommend the Rode PSA-1 boom arm. Although this is not the Rode PSA-1 boom arm, it's very similar to it. If you're going to use the generic boom arm that comes with your BM800 and your V8, it might not be up to task, and the microphone might fall down. So I suggest getting a stable microphone for this one. So in the body, it's very big and bulky, and it does have some functionality towards the body. At the back, it has two built-in filters, namely the high-pass filter and the mid-boost. Personally, I use both of them since most of my work is voiceover during lectures. So for this review, I will be testing the Shure SM7B with my Behringer 404 HD audio interface without any microphone boosters. Since I tested it earlier and it seems to do well if I apply post gain to it with our voice meter and our filters. However, I suggest you still get a microphone booster in any case that your setup is different from mine, in which the microphone is very close to my mouth. If you're going to use the microphone in a farther setting like this one, you might have difficulty having the appropriate gain that you need. Okay, so as always, I'll be reading a short passage with the following configurations in order. So for the first one, we have no built-in filters, meaning a flat configuration, and no digital filters. For the second one, we have still no built-in filters, but with digital filters. For the third one, we have built-in filters enabled with no digital filters. And finally, we have both built-in and digital filters enabled. So you can hear the difference between the plain and the processed audio. So this is the first vocal sample without any built-in filters and without any digital filters enabled. Corticosteroids help in treating asthma by their broad anti-inflammatory efficacy, mediated in part by inhibition of production of inflammatory cytokines. It reduces bronchial reactivity and frequency of attacks, but it does not produce bronchodilation. So this is without any built-in filters on, but with digital filters enabled. Corticosteroids help in treating asthma by their broad anti-inflammatory efficacy, mediated in part by inhibition of production of inflammatory cytokines. It reduces bronchial reactivity and frequency of attacks, but it does not produce bronchodilation. And this is with built-in filters enabled, but without any digital filters. Corticosteroids help in treating asthma by their broad anti-inflammatory efficacy, mediated in part by inhibition of production of inflammatory cytokines. It reduces bronchial reactivity and frequency of attacks, but it does not produce bronchodilation. And this is the last configuration. It is with built-in filters enabled and with digital filters enabled. Corticosteroids help in treating asthma by their broad anti-inflammatory efficacy, mediated in part by inhibition of production of inflammatory cytokines. It reduces bronchial reactivity and frequency of attacks, but it does not produce bronchodilation. So, in conclusion, after testing between different configurations, I can now really see why this microphone is really sought out for. It has a smooth tone, even without any filters applied, and it gives a rich, whole sound, especially when using it on spoken word. I think the configuration of no built in filters plus digital filters would be my go to configuration since I think that having both the built in filters and my digital filters enabled makes a very tinny sound that's too irritating for my liking. For the downsides of this microphone, aside from it's very heavy and it's expensive at around 22,000 upwards, you really need to have a good audio interface to power this microphone. Or if you don't have a good interface, you might want to consider getting a microphone booster to get the appropriate amount of gain for your recordings. I'll be trying this microphone out for a couple of weeks during my lectures and see how it goes. I'll be directly comparing it with my current microphone, which is the Audio Technica H75R, which is a condenser shotgun microphone. For my final comments, this is a good mic, but I don't recommend everyone to go out and buy it. You can really achieve similar results with other microphones, especially if you tinker with filters a little bit, especially EQ and a little bit of compression. But if you have a deep voice, or if you want to do voiceovers and podcasting, or if you want to simply have a good looking microphone in your capture frame for your streaming videos, these are the times in which the Shure SM7B would be a good choice for you. So that is all for my simple testing of the Shure SMB dynamic vocal microphone. I hope you find the video useful when choosing your next microphone. If you have any questions or need help in choosing your next upgrade, please don't hesitate to message us at Aragaki Audio. Again, thanks for watching and see you again on our next video. Goodbye.